And at 4:37, turning to farm news now, a farm just southeast of Hawley, Minnesota may have to destroy hundreds of thousands of chickens. This after initial test results come back positive for avian flu. Valley News Team's Krista Boehm has the details.
We first met Ammon Bayer nearly 2 years ago when summer's heat took a toll on his chickens. But he'd rather take the heat over what he's looking at now, a presumed positive test for avian flu.
We've been very vigilant in trying to monitor the birds and watch them closely for any signs of disease.
Bayer tells me he works with around 300,000 chickens on his farm every day when he noticed something wasn't right with around 30 of them.
I know what a healthy bird looks like, and these looked a little bit sick, under the weather, breathing difficulty, a little bit of foaming from the mouth.
What Bayer doesn't know is how some of his birds came down with the virus. The wild waterfowl are known for carrying it.
We don't have ducks or geese in the barn. I don't know how it would have transferred from the waterfowl into the building.
Now the building will have to be emptied. All 300,000 chickens will likely be wiped out completely once the final test comes back. A livelihood put on hold.
Very deflating. Been a business for 50 years and we've never had a disease outbreak on the farm to speak of that amounted to anything.
A hit to the Bayer Brothers farm that was luckily caught early enough.
They have a 48-hour period. None of the eggs that would have been quarantined here have gotten into the customer's hands.
One relief in all the stress.
I think I'll try and get some sleep.
Near Hawley, Minnesota, Krista Boehm, Valley News Live.
Now, the USDA and Animal Plant Health Inspection Service will be on the farm today, trying to work out a plan to compost the birds. Bird mortality from the avian influenza outbreak nearly doubled in one day as about 5.3 million laying hens in northwest Iowa were destroyed. Bill Northey, Iowa's Secretary of Agriculture, says the commercial egg-laying facility in Osceola County, one of the bigger farms in the state, Iowa, the nation's largest egg producer, and has about 50 million hens and supplies 20% of the eggs consumed in the U.S. The family-owned Iowa farm provided liquid eggs for use in baked goods. And Minnesota-based Hormel Foods feeling the impact of the latest avian flu outbreak. The company's CEO warning investors, saying we are experiencing significant challenges in the turkey supply chain. That's impacting the Jennie-O turkey division and profits through the rest of the year. Milk, potatoes, and apples, just a few of the many products currently banned when trading with Cuba, which is just 90 miles south of the U.S. coast. Valley News Live's reporter Nick Starling shows us why some agriculture producers are urging Congress to fully lift the embargo to help their bottom line.
It's time for a new era.
Doug Kiesling is a fifth-generation wheat farmer from central Kansas. He testified in front of the Senate Agriculture Committee Tuesday, pleading his case for Congress to fully lift the trade embargo with Cuba.
We want to be able to have free access to any country, and with this being our neighbor, why not?
A look at this graph, you can see why Kiesling wants to normalize relations. Look at how much Cuba imports wheat from other countries. They don't have the same restrictions the U.S. does.
As a Kansas producer, those are our competition. So, of course, we would much rather say that we have a better product at a better price, most of it because of logistics on time and space.
Senator Debbie Stabenow of Michigan agrees and is in favor of lifting the embargo.
Apples seems to be a delicacy at Christmas time, and I said we can give you Christmas every day. So we have a lot of opportunities.
But other senators want to take a step back and make sure the decision to lift the embargo is made carefully.
We have to take a realistic approach and work out a step-by-step plan towards lifting the embargo.
Some on the committee are cautious about Cuba's human rights issues, but for farmers like Kiesling, it's about the money. He stresses more demand for his product will bring in more dollars to the U.S. ag sector.
We could sell legitimately 10% of all the wheat from Kansas grown this year could go to Cuba, and that's a lot of wheat.
USDA estimates that fully opening up trade relations could bring in $1 billion more to the U.S. economy. According to the law, though, only Congress can end a trade embargo to Cuba. Well, it's Wednesday and time for our Stewardship Wednesday segment, staying ahead of the curve in animal care. We're taking a look at the business of artificial insemination. In cattle, it is a part of the business that is both labor-saving and labor-creating.
It's an industry that's become very, not complex, but very available to everyone. So we have bulls that we admire for their certain characteristics and qualities. Some of it might be calving ease, some of it might be high marbling in the beef, and so we decide which of these bulls fits my operation, which are the genetics, which of the traits am I after that I would want to use an artificial insemination program in my herd. One of the nice things about the AI programs is that it's allowed us to put cows basically in the same stage of their reproductive cycle, so that instead of waiting for one cow to come into heat and breeding one cow, we can actually breed a group of cows all at the same time, which saves a great deal on some labor that would ordinarily be spread out over, 2 to 3 weeks. It's not complicated, but it's like a recipe, and you have to follow this recipe very carefully in order to get the results that you want.
And that's our Stewardship Wednesday and our Farm News segment for this morning. We're going to come back right after the break, and we're checking the forecast for agriculture around the U.S. right after this.